Meet the artists of Artlandia. These are portraits made by our 4th and our 5th grade art students. The ones below are made by 4th grade, and these are reverse glass portraits. Students painted from behind on plexiglass to create their image. The ones above are all contour line paintings that the students made while looking in a mirror, and they were created by the 5th grade students. These are the artists featured in the show. 4th and 5th grade art-focused students. Next up, abstract expressionism. These are paintings created by 4th graders at the beginning of the year. We were learning about the artist Varley-Crosby, who was an abstract expressionist painter. And Kandinsky would listen to music as he did his work, letting the lines and colors and feelings flow as he listened to the sounds. Each one of these has a pretty unique name. This one is called Boom Boom Pow. This one, My Life in Art. This one's called Color Blast. Pretty great. Abstract expressionism. Next up, we have work from Mrs. Dickey's studio with Lynn Maria and Jordan. The top are origami radial design images, and below are spectrum color explorations with a shadow image. Next, we have some work showing the Tree of Life based on Gustav Klimt's work. And these two paintings show an undersea exploration. Next up, we have some paintings by 5th grade from Miss Lavario's studio. These are based on Vincent van Gogh's style of paintbrush strokes, showing the harvest moon through cold, chilly nights. This part of the art show is about a field trip that our 5th grade class was invited to the studio, the hot glass studio of Duncan McClellan. A visiting artist was in town and specifically asked to have a group of students come and work with him hands-on. This was the first time that students had actually been invited to work in the hot shop. So here you can see Liam literally putting hot glass, molten glass, into what's called the furnace, and helping to begin to shape the forms of the pieces that they made. There's Samantha doing the same thing. All of the students were involved in the creation, start to finish. This is Livy, who did a drawing of this cat, and that is the final creation that was made from her drawing. Here we've got Lucy and Brandon working hands-on with the tools, with the artists at the studio. And this was one of our amazing pieces, which I'm now going to show you. This is that pizza in glass in its final form. Absolutely incredible. Sort of made on the spot while we were at the studio. This is a glass piece that was designed by Layla Fisher. All the students had a hand in the creation of this flamingo in 100% glass with different colorants. This is a cat that was designed by Livy. And this is our Perkins heart to commemorate our trip to the DMG studio. Thank you, Duncan McClellan, for such an amazing, amazing day. And bravo to all our students. So here we have some works of art that were done with colored pencil by fourth graders in Mrs. Crosby's studio. This is a drawing of a bird and several of these. To create textures, the students actually used pencil shavings from the colored pencils that we're using to create the feathers on the birds. They were attached with some of the shavings from the pencil sharpener. And you'll see down here as well. Next, we photographed all of these pieces and created a digital work from that same work of art. So literally getting two pieces of art from the same original piece. And this student, Emma, won an award recently for this piece. These are pretty cool original prints made by fifth grade students. These are called jelly prints, and each one of these papers was handmade by the students. They applied color and texture and paper and lifted these prints. Some of the kids used sheet music like she did here, and others created their own background with just absolutely amazing results. After they had created their own papers, they then chose animals that represented their spirit animal, some animals that they feel connected to, and added some text to each piece. So each one of these is a monoprint, which means one of a kind. These are some three-dimensional pottery pieces based on friendship pots from the Pueblo people. So each of the students again created spirit animals, this time in clay, and animal friends facing one another on each side of their handmade piece. Get a better view of this piece, little fox. Check out these faces. We have a collection of ceramic work made by fifth grade, which are tiles that have messages of hope and peace that they created individually. They made an image and added text, and the challenging part was the wiring to put the two parts together. All of them are hand painted, original, one of a kind ceramic wall hangings. Calming. Shalom. the puppy's house, and sparkle. Another group of inspirational messages created by 4th grade. Art releases my creative side. Art makes you think. Wild. Art is knowledge and power. Art makes me feel calm. Art makes the dream work. Art is the world to me. Art, dance, music, it's all me. Creating is the masterpiece of art. Art makes me happy. Next up, we have some pieces by 5th grade artists based on the artist Wayne Thiebaud, who loved creating acres of pies and cakes and treats. So our 5th grade students made cakes, all kinds of cakes. Yum, yum. Maybe you guys have met the Ugly Dolls. They're pretty popular these days. 4th grade students made what is called a collagraph, and their theme was Ugly Dolls. A collagraph is a kind of print that is made with a raised up plate. The kids cut out the shapes, glued them, arranged them to create their own ugly doll. And then these were inked up and run in a real printing press right here at school. And the results were pretty impressive. They had to create a raised plate to get these images. And they are so ugly, they're cute. This group of students continued the ugly doll theme by creating a clay statue of uglies. And again, they are so darn ugly, they're cute as well. Next, we have work that was actually created on the potter's wheel. 5th grade students and Miss G had the opportunity to use the wheel and throw a pot. Each one of these was created with a spinning wheel, and with technique and finesse, they were able to form their own ceramic pots, which are completely usable for things like ice cream. So congratulations on working on the potter's wheel, 5th grade. You did a great job. Next up, we have 1-point perspective landscapes. Now, 1-point perspective is a pretty tricky concept. We're working to show distance by a vanishing point and converging lines, overlapping shapes, making things in the background smaller and things in the foreground larger. And each of these students did a fabulous job of using 1-point perspective techniques to show depth or distance in their paintings. These were made by 5th graders and then hand painted with tempera cakes. Beautiful work. And challenging too. Nice work. Next, we have a collection of work from Miss Gaunt's studio. And these were based, of course, on Vincent van Gogh's Sunflowers. They started with painting, and then they went and made drawings and a weaving, which were all collaged together to create a very textural, three-dimensional still life, and just really, really successful. Beautiful, beautiful work, suitable for framing. These mixed media pieces were done in Mrs. Lavardio's studio, and they are showing analogous colors and complementary colors, along with textures and printing. So the children carved their own leaves after painting and drawing their background spaces, and made these beautiful leaves and branches. Each one of a kind, each one fabulous. Well done. When the fourth grade students completed their drawings, they used that same stamp that they had printed with to actually make an impression in clay to make these ceramic trays. One of a kind. These pieces were created in Mrs. Crosby's studio based on the fabulous environment that we have here in Florida and our hundreds and hundreds of miles of beaches. So first these students made these watercolor pencil drawings, and then they created these ceramic shorebirds. Little shorebirds that were perched up on a base. Beautiful job. In the Middle Ages, many books were created with illuminated manuscripts, where lettering was done by hand using gold and silver paints. And so these fifth grade students created the first letter of their name using an aluminum collograph form, where the letter was raised up and then covered with aluminum foil and hand colored. Very nice work. Konnichiwa! Welcome to Japan. These students were learning about sumi painting, which is ink wash painting, originating in Asia and really well known in Japan. And the idea is to show different values of light and dark ink, and usually showing some imagery from nature. So these were the students' first attempts at sumi. Then we expanded it to working on a metallic surface, some gold, some silver, the printed background, and then exploring with sumi. All the pieces were finished with a chop, which is a signature in terms of a red stamp. This student used colors for his piece. Each one of the kimonos was printed and then arranged in what is called a triptych, or three together. They are just elegant and so beautiful. Next, we learned about origami, which is literally folding paper, and the students folded their own kimonos. So we'll show you them. These were folded completely by hand, no scissors, no cutting, no gluing. For the final pieces in the show, we'd like to introduce you to this artist. Her name is Lucy Sparrow. And Lucy Sparrow fell in love with felt when she was about 7 or 8 years old. She started stitching things using felt, and it got carried away. And literally, she created a grocery store with everything in it stitched with felt. From fruits and vegetables to ketchup and canned food, everything is made with felt. So our students did the same thing. 4th grade students, in the style of Lucy Sparrow, created their own donut out of felt. Every one of them hand-stitched, created by 4th graders, complete with Dunkin' Donut napkins. We have sprinkles and frosting. We even have some that have a bite already taken out of them. All inspired by Lucy Sparrow, created by our 4th grade art focus class. Well done. 5th grade art focus was inspired by Lucy Sparrow, and they created pizza. Some of our pizzas have faces. Each one hand stitched. We've got felt in many layers. We've got cheese, pepperoni, we got olives. Some students use cut felt, others use buttons. Some are ready to eat right now. Amazing. Well done. We ask you to do not touch the pizza. 5th grade, well done. Such a great project. We're so proud of you.
La pendule fait tic-tac, tic-tic. Les oiseaux du lac pic-pac, pic-pic. Clou, 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 font tous les dindons. Et la jolie coche ping dindon. Mais boum, quand notre cœur fait boum, tout avec lui dit boum. Et c'est l'amour qui s'éveille.